Hello, and welcome back to the Beatdown Bandits podcast. This is season 3, episode 4. I'm Colin, and today, a little bit different. I always try to steer this podcast around gaming for the most part, but with some entertainment in there. I've done stuff on music and movies and TV shows and other things like that, as well as just origin stories. I think I've kind of done similar things like twice now. With that aspect between like Matt and myself. But today, while I'm putting gaming into it, it's more or less just like a work life balance success type stuff. So a lot of people a lot of people call it like a work life balance, having that. And I started a while back, and this really came from a company I work with, of like just calling it life balance, right? Like work is part of life. And so just trying to find life balance and having success with that is so important. And we all struggle with that. I've struggled with it in the past. And I still, on occasion will have those moments where sometimes I struggle separating that. And I kind of want to talk about it a little bit. Just bumped my camera. Sorry about that. And then I kind of want to talk about a little bit about my like work history, and then kind of how I am, or how I've gotten to the point where I am now. So back in 2011, and even if I go back even like further, so I graduated college in like 2002. And then I had actually started working for a company when I was like a senior in high school. So like in 99, 2000 range, I started working for a company, so basically a hospital. They were part of this big healthcare conglomerate, basically. And I didn't mind. I was kind of doing like data entry type stuff, like second shift. And then started once I graduated high school. So I was kind of first, in the days during, doing high school, and then in the evenings, working in this hospital, basically just data entry. And then put myself, once graduated high school, went through college and stuff. And once I graduated, once I first started and graduated college, I was working second shift and sometimes occasional like third shift, still doing that, but I was also working at a high school. So I was working as basically like an IT guy for a school district. And it was okay, but I only did it for like one school year. But it was tiring. It was like a 50-minute drive from my house. And I'm 21 years old at the time, and I'm trying to work second or third shift, and then going straight to either like go home and get maybe 5 hours of sleep, and then going to there, or leaving straight from work, going to the school, and then coming home and trying to stay. I mean, it was not easy, and I was putting in a lot of hours, and 72 hours a work week. And then trying to find at least like 6 hours in there. But at the time, like, I was kind of single, or I had just started dating my now wife. And it was right about that time. And that's when I ended up, the hospital I was working at had a job opening in their IT department. And I'm like, okay, perfect. Like, I can make the same amount of money. It's a 10-minute drive from where I was living at the time. And I can quit the school, which is far away. It was decent money, but it's far away. And I can get the same amount of money working, 40 to 45 hours a week. Like, perfect. So I did that. And that was nice because it was first shift. It was 7 to 3:30, and working in like straight in the IT department there, doing a little bit of everything. And put in basically a decade in that IT department. And so that was, 2002-ish or whatever, 2003. So fast forward to 2011, like September, and I lose my job. And they're making cutbacks and everything, and they shut down a whole bunch of different departments, and they run into a whole bunch of financial struggles. And so I kind of go a couple months without any work before I found the company I work for now. And it's a small business, so I kind of went from working from a bigger business to a small business. And at the time, we maybe had 50 employees. I think we have 60-ish now, and we fluctuated between 45 and 60 as different things have happened. But you know, it really worked for me. The company is in a different state. It's only like 3 hours away from where I live, but you know, we service larger companies. And so we have all these large company contracts where we what we call managed print services. So we kind of go in and evaluate their print usage and kind of give them what we feel like would work best for them, type of things. So say, you know, they've got 20 floors in their business, and every floor has 100 people on the floor. And they've got, as we go in, they've got 10 printers per floor, and we evaluate the usage and stuff and say, yeah, you don't really need this much. You know, you can kind of get away with X amount of printers, and then we can sell them, lease them, service them, all sorts of stuff as far as like print goes. And then we manage a lot of different softwares to help lower print usage, monitor print usage, things like that, as well as like document flow services. You know, so you don't have to email a whole bunch of documents back and forth. So we've got all these different things that we can do for really any size company, but you know, medium to large businesses is what we would really look for. So anyway, like I started off as a technician back in 2011, and started off just servicing printers, monitoring them, things like that, for a very large company. And it wasn't bad. I enjoyed it. It was hard work, and it kept me like extremely busy. So you know, what I had noticed though is one, like my happiness level like went way up. Like I didn't realize like how depressed I was in my job. Like it was a security thing, right? Like, okay, it's a reliable paycheck working at this hospital. It's decent money. I've got good benefits. It's close. And so I took those, like my depression levels, for granted. And once I had left and got a new job for a company that I really felt like I fit in with, life was so much better, even though it was like harder work. And the commute was, now I was commuting then like 45 minutes again. Like, oh, you know, that kind of sucks. But it gave me like that decompression time. Like I could leave my house in the morning, and going from like, you know, in a hurry, because like you know, I'm married, I have 2 kids, so I could leave my house, and I could you know, hurry up and get my kids ready in the morning, and then my 45 minute drive to work, I could listen to music, I could get myself in the right mindset to be functioning for that day. And then like, let's say I have a stressful day at work, I can come home and I got that 45 minute drive home to decompress and kind of come back into like my home life. Okay. So I was doing this for a couple of years, and eventually I got a really good promotion and became a project manager. And you know, and I was a project manager for this one big giant company that, you know, was our biggest contract. And so I was still working for the small company, but 99% of my role was based around one customer to really support them. And because they had so many businesses across the country and so many like little regional offices and small offices and things like that, they were always constantly moving offices and merging offices and opening new offices and closing offices. So there's always tons of crap happening. And we needed a project manager for the whole team. It was like 17 people, just from our small company supporting this big company. And so I kind of took that on. I got to work from home. So this would have been let's see, I started in 2011, 12, 13, so probably about 2014 or so. I got this role, and I got a chance to work at home, which I thought was really cool. And it still is. But yeah, I started that around 2014, maybe it was 2015, but I think it was 2014. And you know, that was really stressful, and it was a much harder job, and I still do that now, but it's a much lesser extent. And so it was very stressful. But the problem is like that I didn't realize that I kind of needed was that decompression time, that 45-minute commute, not so much the way there, but like coming home. So like I had to finish up a stressful day. And the house we were living in at the time, like my office was like at the landing at the top of the stairs. So it's a big open area. And I kind of had taken up the corner of it with my desks and stuff and all my work stuff. And had just kind of claimed that area as as my office area. And it was a nightmare too, because like, and I'm sure a lot of people, and especially like post COVID, people realize like working from home, like, oh yeah, it sounds great, but like you have to be able to um, make your family realize like I am working, I am not dad right now, or I'm not your spouse right now. Okay, I'm here to do my job. And you keep getting bugged and bugged and bugged and bugged, and it's a pain in the butt. And that's my biggest thing. So like when the kids are in school and my wife's at work, like that's when I am like most effective at doing my job. But man, like you got to when everybody's here, it's a bit of a nightmare, especially like when I'm on meetings. Like let's just say I'm kind of working on mundane tasks and nothing big is going on. They will leave me alone 100%. But the second I get onto a call, into a meeting, I'm on the phone, I'm on a Zoom meeting, whatever, constantly in and out, in and out, in and out. And like that's like the most stressful part of working from home is I don't get bugged until the worst possible time. And that's when it's just like pounding through the door. There's no quietly knocking and peeking in like, hey, are you in a meeting? It's just boom, hey, what's up? It's like, I am on a call, please. And so that's like the hardest part of kind of working from home for sure, is just that added stress of other people being here while I'm like trying to get like important things done, or I'm on with our customers and I can't have this. And so that's the balances that have to come in with doing important work from home. Fortunately for me, like I had been doing it for years prior to COVID, so I had found that balance. And then we had moved here maybe 5 years ago, and little bit more privacy back here. I'm kind of in the back corner of our house, and so it's a little more private. But the unfortunate thing is, like on the other side of like this door that you can kind of see like the white frame. So I just painted my office, by the way. It used to be like a dark green. So if you've watched the podcast before, you've probably seen it in the background. Every once in a while, like I would have a webcam on like during streams or whatever. Just painted everything, redid everything, moved my work stuff and my like personal PCs and gaming stuff. I've switched them around in the room. So it's so much nicer. But anyway, this door right here, like leads to our laundry room. And of course, like if I'm not home, or I'm sorry, if my family is home, nobody will do laundry until a meeting starts. Then you can kind of hear the washer and the dryer in the background. It's really obnoxious, but like washer and dryer are right there. So like right through that doorway. So that's kind of the downside. Like I have to walk through the laundry room to get here. Not a huge deal, but like, again, nobody will do laundry until I'm in a meeting. It just never fails. So anyway, yeah, like I love it back here. Like I said, it's a little bit more private because it's in the back side of the house, but that really helps. Anyway, so I'm getting a little sidetracked. So COVID hit, right? And we lost some, a lot of customers like said, okay, well, we don't need 800 offices. We're going to merge down to some smaller ones. And a lot of people are working from home. And so that made, as a company that relies on businesses to be at work, COVID hit us, pretty hard. And we had to lay off a handful of people, which kind of sucked. But like our team shrank from 17 down to 6. And those were really the only layoffs that we had, because our one big customer was the one that had the biggest effect on our team, because they decided they were going to work from home the longest and not really put that much pressure on their employees to kind of come back into work, even though we can tell that productivity is down. I guess they weren't super bothered with it. Plus, they're a really, really big company. So I ended up becoming the manager of this, small 6-man team now. And this was probably like May of 2020. I kind of moved into that role. And so really, really no issues, and was taking on a lot of different things and new tasks and leading a team. And I had led smaller teams before within our team, and really no issues. But now I was like leading this full all out team, and which was really cool. Great experience. It was just unfortunate the way that it happened. I wish I was able to lead the team fully without COVID, without layoffs and stuff like that. Like that would have been much, much better. But I had to start going into work a little bit more to like help out the teams that were very short staffed. And so I had to like kind of start traveling a little bit more during COVID and going into the office. And so we kind of got ourselves deemed as, what's the word I'm looking for? Essential. Yeah, we became essential employees because this business is also with people working from home. They wanted to have printers at home, so we had to ship printers, and we started selling personal printers. And so we started selling smaller desktop model printers to all these employees. So we sold thousands and thousands of them, but we had to ship them out. So we were kind of going into work and doing all that. And then we just had to go into work anyway, because like being IT related or whatever, it just kind of got deemed essential. So we had never really stopped going into the office. It was maybe just limited people or limited hours. But really since probably like the summer of 2020, we were going in every day and working. So now fortunately for me, like I was managing that full team is not all just in one location. They're throughout the country as well. So because like I wasn't just essential like to like one area, like I still got a chance to work from home most days, but was going into the office a little bit more again. And so the whole purpose of all this was basically to talk about all this work stuff, and then trying to manage a spouse and kids and stuff at home while trying to work from home. And I also am trying to run a somewhat decent YouTube channel. I mean, it struggles, and I do my best, but I enjoy it. Even if nobody really watches the videos, I like capturing the stuff. I like making the videos, even though they're not great. I enjoy making the content, and it's funny to me, and I want to keep it as long as I can. And it's something funny for me to go back and watch every once in a while and kind of see what we did and what I did, what was so funny, what was so goofy, and some of them like I put a lot of work into. I know like there was one video that I did with Cameo, was an Apex like challenge video where we put a little over 12 hours into making one video. It was a 4 or 5 day adventure, several hours a day type of thing. And it took us a long time to record it, because getting two people together from the opposite sides of the world to record is not always easy. And plus, like I limit myself on the hours that I play. I usually only play a couple of days a week. And so that was really challenging. So yeah, it was over 12 hours of content to make. I don't know, our videos were 10 to 12 minutes long. So a lot of people don't put that into perspective of sometimes like a lot of content creators, sometimes you can get really lucky. Like sometimes you can record for an hour and a half and you've got a video in there. Or like I've even been able to like record or like have a stream and record like 3 hours or 4 hours and have like tons of content and make a couple of videos out of it. Sometimes that happens, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you can just kind of get lucky with those things. Anyway, like I said, I only game typically like on Wednesdays and Saturdays, and I try to record these podcasts. Like right now it is 12 o'clock. So I started this about 11:45 and it takes out my lunch. So my lunch break is I'm trying to record a podcast. I try to record this once a week if I can. I do my best to get one out every Saturday, but sometimes I fail, and sometimes that happens. But Just trying to record one of these during my lunch break. So I just skip lunch on one day during the week to bust out a podcast to get that out for that next Saturday. So that's kind of what I'm doing now. And editing videos is by far like the hardest thing I end up having to do, because I do that late at night or whatever, 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night. Like that's when I sometimes end up like start like editing some stuff, just sitting there with my laptop, or like right after work. If I finish up work at 5 o'clock, I'll try to sit there and try to, edit real quick for like an hour. So sometimes my videos aren't, they could be much betterly edited. They could be edited better. I don't, like I said, I don't always take my time with them, because like I want to get content out as fast as I can. I don't want to set on something in case somebody else does it, especially like when new content comes out. You got to bust that out as quickly as possible. So if you sit there on it and I take days and days and days to edit something, that's a big problem sometimes. Like you want to be one of those first ones to get the content out as fast as possible. So I do my best with that as well, while trying to manage a family and stuff like that. So like I said, I try my best to just pretty much game on like Wednesdays and Saturdays, and then occasionally, like once or twice a week, I might like spend like 30 minutes to an hour of like a lunch break during the week to try to record something with my friend Camio, who's over in Germany. So like that time slot kind of works for him. So I'll try to record that during those times. So I might skip lunch a few days a week. And sometimes we can record on like a Saturday or Sunday morning, and those are much more beneficial because especially if I have time. But I usually only record on Saturday or Sunday mornings if my wife's working that weekend. Otherwise, I usually don't, to spend time with my family. And so yeah, those are those weird balances and stuff that are a struggle. And I'm skipping a week on the podcast this week because I ended up just actually kind of getting a promotion. I'm moving from like a manager level up to a director level, which is super exciting. I'm going to be managing multiple other groups and teams. So I just did a hiring. I did a whole bunch of interviews and stuff like this past week, and got somebody hired and kind of working on that onboarding and stuff now. So that's why there was no podcast this past Saturday, because I just got so busy and with taking on new tasks and projects and stuff. But you got to keep pounding and working, and like I said, it's so important to find that balance though, of not grinding too hard. There's a lot of people who sit there and if you can grind 10, 12, 14 hour like gaming sessions and stuff, man, more power to you. I try to stay as positive as I always can. And sometimes that's a struggle. Like, and that's like been like a tough realization for myself like the last couple of years is, I'm getting older. I'm about to turn 40, as a matter of fact, which is a little scary. But turning 40, and then I don't drink as much as I used to, but I still drink every once in a while. And then like, you include my friend Matt, who drinks a lot more than I do, but he's also a little bit older than me. And we usually sit down to game to have fun. And like the times where we want to be competitive and good, like that's been a tough realization for me, is like, I'm not as good as I used to be 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago at video games. Like I used to just win everything. Like I was just, nobody could beat me. I was a god. But now, like, I just don't have the reflexes and stuff anymore. And like, I would still much rather like laugh at like a corpse launch, getting like blown up by 100 nades or whatever, than winning a game. Like I can remember getting gate launched in GTA, or getting a corpse launched in Modern Warfare or whatever. Like those are things that are much more humorous to me and fun to me as I get older. I don't care about all the wins as much anymore. Like I want to be good. I'm just not as good as I used to be. And so that's a whole nother thing, is just finding that positive attitude where you can find that balance of being competitive and good, but being real with yourself that I'm not gonna be a 22-year-old like hyped up on Red Bull anymore, right? Like I am beyond that stage. That's why you don't see, the pro scenes are loaded with 18 to 25, 26, 27 year olds, right? Because they're that prime testosterone, that prime level of just jacked up and reflexes, right? And I am beyond that now. Like I would much rather die. And I've definitely learned, like, this past year also, like, laughing at myself when I die a little bit more than I used to a couple years back. Like, getting just pissed off when I die or lose or whatever. Like, I don't care as much anymore. So anyway, that was it. There was really no plan to this podcast. More or less, just kind of talking about just trying to find that comfort positivity zone in your life with mixing work. Like right now I'm working about 50 hours a week, gaming about 8 more hours a week or so, 8 to maybe 10 hours if I'm not super tired. But man, like, the older I get, the more tired I get. Like I just worn down, right? On those Wednesdays and Saturday nights when I try to play. I used to be able to play until 2 a.m., go to bed and get back up at 6:30, like no problem. Now, like, man, like I just need a little bit more sleep. And yeah, so just watch your mindset and watch your own personal balance levels of thing. I think is so important for people, and stepping away and taking breaks from things. Like, I've had to do that at times where I just get frustrated. Like, I need to take a break away from humans for a while. I'm overall pretty an introverted person. And so talking with people, like, just wears me down. And I don't talk a lot anyway during, like, even like while I'm streaming or whatever. I don't talk a lot. Um, I have to focus on things. Like, I already have hearing issues, so I've got to focus enough already. So if I'm trying to listen to a game and somebody talk, I just can't do it. I can't do. I just can't do that. And so so yeah, it's a big struggle. And so I've tried to put a big focus on just having better balance with with gaming and life and work and my family and things like that. Those are the things that have been much more important to me, while still trying to putz around and trying to get out funny and decent content out there on the YouTube machines, and working on this podcast as well. So that's something I'm trying to put a bigger focus on this year. I tried last year and like the first year in 2020 to get a couple people like set up for interviews, and it just kind of fizzled out a little bit. I was able to get Cameo in for a few, and one of his friends in, but I'm working on some stuff. So you know what, I don't want to spoil anything. I was going to spoil some stuff, but I don't want to say anything and those things fizzle out, and I don't want to get anybody's hopes up. But I am working on a few different interviews and stuff that I hope can happen. But anybody who wants to be on here, I would much rather interview somebody and talk to somebody than just me blabbing around and talking to nobody. So if you have any interest in being in the podcast, just let me know. If you're listening to podcast on Spotify or Apple Music or wherever you happen to listen to your podcast, that's awesome. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Hit me up on YouTube. I've got in the descriptions and stuff, I've got all my social media and stuff is a great way to contact me. Got a business email in there, through Twitter or Instagram or whatever. Any way you want to contact me is perfectly fine. I'm more than happy to bring guests on here. I would really love to have more guests on. So like I said, slowly working on those things. So we'll see what happens. So That is it. Thank you very much again for watching or listening to the Beatdown Bandits podcast, season 3, episode 4. Got it. So we'll be back very soon. I should be able to find time for next Saturday as well. So try to get some more back-to-backs here. But like I said, with the promotion and stuff, some work duties have changed a little bit and some more responsibilities. So bear with me, but we'll keep everything rolling. So all right, that's it. Later, dudes.